notice has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Our first item on the agenda is closed session. And so at 6:01, the board will now move to closed session as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.001, concerning purposes permitted by the act, including 551.071, consultation with attorney, 551.072, deliberation regarding real property, 551.074, deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignments, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public employee, or to hear a complaint or charge against an employee. 6:50, and I'll call us back into open session. First item on our agenda is Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge.
And I believe we have some Girl Scouts that are going to help us. Can y'all come forward? Thank you, leadership team. Wonderful. All right, and our flags are right up there, so we're going to turn that way. Y'all going to help me read? Okay, ready? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now for the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Hey, girls, y'all stay here for a minute. Yes. We want to hear a little bit about what you're doing. Okay, what is your troop number?
139153.
Okay, it's got a lot of numbers, yes. 139153. All right. How long have you been a Girl Scout?
I don't know.
A few years?
I don't know.
How many boxes of cookies have you sold?
Yes, that's a great question. So tell me, what is your favorite kind of cookie? Girl Scout cookie. Do you have a favorite? Is anybody? Favorite?
Yes.
Okay.
Adventure Falls.
Adventure Falls. Does somebody else like Adventure Falls? Oh, you do? That's your favorite? Somebody have a different favorite?
I like Thin Mints.
Thin Mints.
I like Caramel Delights.
Caramel Delights.
I like Caramel Delights. Thin Mints and Caramel Delights.
All right, so we'll see if the audience agrees with you. Yes. Great job. Okay. Yes, thank you all so much. We're going to take a quick picture. Y'all wait just a minute. Thank you, and thank you, girls, for leading us in the pledges. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are now going to honor some Science and Engineering Fair winners. The Science and Engineering Fair is a hallmark community event in Clear Creek ISD. I would like to thank the volunteers, including several of our trustees, for judging students' projects. You and the students did a great job as 5 of our district winners placed at the Texas Science and Engineering Fair. Please join me in congratulating, and please listen to their projects. This is impressive. Melina Kumar from Clear Lake High School earned first place in the Animal Sciences Division for her project titled, Why is the Mare Acting Like a Stallion? Novel Test to Diagnose Granulosa Cell Tumor. And is Melina here? Oh, come on up. Congratulations, Melina. Yes, okay, and just stand up here with us, okay? Alexa Lopez from Brookside Intermediate earned first place in the Engineering Technology Junior Division with modifying the bass drum pedal for the disabled. Alexa? Great. All right. Lake Porterfield from Westburg Intermediate earned second place in the Earth and Environmental Science Junior Division with the effects of substratus on zophoobus mori biodegradation of polystyrenes. Polystyrenes, there you go. It's pretty impressive. I have no idea what that is. So we'll talk in a minute. That's so good. Okay, Caden Polkamp from Brookside Intermediate earned third place in the Animal Sciences Junior Division with this project, Tiny Bacteria Big Sand Shrimp Problem. And Caden, all right. Okay, and finally, Zoe Alcantar from Seabrook Intermediate earned third place in the Mathematics Junior Division with Get More Goals, Data's Secrets. All right, Zoe. Okay, principals, if you're here, would you come on up and join these intelligent individuals? We are so impressed with your projects. We'll get a picture with everybody. Okay, now before you, yes, congrats. All right, so before y'all sit down, can you give like a one-sentence descriptor of your project? Can you do that? Who wants to start? Go, Luke. Oh, we are gonna, okay, we'll start with the Lake High School.
So my project focused on developing a test to help diagnose granulosa cell tumor because the current tests are very invasive and expensive. So I developed a test which cost about $10 and allows for early detection, which can help save many horses' lives.
Wow.
So I had an extension to a bass drum pedal for this person that I know. He was born with cerebral palsy and hasn't been able to play with the bass drum pedal since he was a little kid. So the extension I added allows him to play completely by himself.
I seek to determine in my experiment which types of substrate, which are the type of floor covering that an animal lives in, allows a type of beetle larva to consume the most styrofoam in the span of 4 weeks, which is one step in eliminating a lot of styrofoam, which could end up in landfills or the ocean.
I determined if Enterococcus bacteria have an effect on sand shrimp found in Galveston Bay and Galveston Island.
So my project was about analyzing the different offensive strategies of professional soccer players and which strategies they can use to maximize their goal scoring.
Congratulations, you have inspired and motivated all of us. We are so proud, and congratulations. Outstanding job, everyone. We have another outstanding group of scholars, our National Merit finalists. We have great news. The 15 National Merit semifinalists in Clear Creek ISD have now all progressed forward and have been named National Finalists. We are incredibly proud of the following students who are among the academic elite in the U.S. Would the students and their principals please come forward? And there are some familiar faces with us here tonight. First of all, from Clear Creek High School, Brian Stevens and Jay Young. Come on up. Get a picture by school.
They're right here. And
Congratulations. Well, can you wait? Okay, you could tell us one secret to your success. If you were going to give advice to someone, y'all can listen to that. If you were going to give advice to someone who wants to be a national merit finalist, what would that one piece of advice be?
I would say, do all your homework.
Great advice. Thank you so much. Outstanding. That's good. Yeah. That's good. Okay, from Clear Falls High School, Christina Gephardt and Ethan Miles. Come on, Clear Falls and your principal. Yay. Okay, and Christina, one piece of advice?
I would say when you're practicing for the PSAT, don't just mindlessly do practice problems. Like really continuously reevaluate your approach so you can optimize both your speed and your effectiveness.
Great advice for all of us and everything we do. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, Clear Lake High School. Paul Bailey, Joshua Cogburn, Ethan Faulkner, Menasha Gunrathnu, Jonathan Wang, Joshua Jang, Chris Wang, Cody Wang, Richard Wang, and Gunnar Raiwadney. Okay. Come on, Pat. Okay, so I'm going to let you, yes, we're going to clap and high five. Okay. A piece of advice. To earn what you have really achieved, National Merit Finalist.
Make sure you take your practice test like an actual test. It's useless if you don't treat it as such.
I would just say read a lot, start early, and learn to love it.
Keep reviewing what you've learned in the past.
Take it seriously. And all your elementary people, read a lot. Keep reading. That's awesome. Yeah, and keep reviewing what you've learned. That's great. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for that. And finally, Clear Springs High School. Jared Y. Rodney. Is Jared here? Oh, I am so sorry. Come on up. That is what I'm so sorry. Yes, congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you. And we'll get everybody, but we're going to get one final piece of advice. You got it.
I would say practice more than you need to, so you're ready for the pressure of the actual test.
Good advice for every day, everything we do, right? Thank you so much. We're going to get one picture with everybody. Come on up.
Okay, ready? More. Thanks.
Okay, and finally, 2024 Best Communities for Music Education. The National Association of Music Merchants Foundation awarded CCISD the Best Communities for Music Education Award. And this is truly a testament of the leadership from Greg Goodman and Mary Goldner and every music teacher and director in CCISD. These two ensure music learning opportunities are available for every student and provide an example for other communities to follow. Mr. Goodman, Ms. Goldner, are you in the room? Come on up. Mr. Goodman, thank you. And this designation celebrates school districts in their communities for supporting music education. Throughout the Foundation's 25-year history, more than 1,000 school districts have been recognized across the nation. And I'd like to thank our teachers, pre-K through 12th grade, from across Clear Creek ISD for instilling the love of all types of music and performing arts in our students. The various forms of music education develop the attributes of a profile of a CCISD learner, creators and critical thinkers, collaborators and contributors, communicators and connectors, and compassionate and confident. And we are just so pleased with the program and just wanted to ask you a question, Mr. Goodman. So what do you see, as a key attribute for earning this, this prestigious nomination award?
So the award digs deep into the data of our school district. It looks at staffing. It looks at school resources, the local budget to the schools, district-wide budget. It looks at certification levels of our teachers. Our district is performing at a very high level. For example, we have budgets for our elementary music teachers, elementary art teachers. That's not the case in most school districts. It determines the level of funding and comes with a conclusion based on that. Also, the quality of our programs. We have incredible teachers in every school in our district. And I will tell you, over the last 7 years that I've been here, it is so exciting to see a district of this size to have the quality throughout the entire district. And every program is moving in the forward direction. It looks at student-teacher ratios. It looks at qualifications of teachers. It looks at, for example, the passing of the bond, the money for new instruments. That played a role in this. And it also looks at the commitment the district has as to the graduation requirements and our requirement at the intermediate level, and the fact that we offer music and art at elementaries is what made that happen.
I could not agree more, and I do think we always go back, look at the quality of the teachers and what we have. We are so grateful. And my mom was a retired music teacher at the elementary level, and just the passion that we see across the district with every one of these teachers in all the classrooms. We're so grateful. So thank you and congratulations.
Congratulations, Greg.
Next item on the agenda is administrative report.
Okay, and the annual tax collection report, I think Ms. Benzon may be up here, will be presented by our tax attorneys, and we're grateful for y'all being here. And thank you again, long-time relationship, and we appreciate your work.
Happy to be here. Very happy to be here. Nice to see everybody. My name is Elizabeth Wheely. This is my law partner, Melissa Valdez. So we're going to do our lovely annual collection report. I know y'all look forward to this every year because it is riveting information. So, let's see. In the essence of time, I'm just going to give the main highlights of the next few slides. So this particular chart shows where is a breakdown of the district's property tax accounts by dollar range. For example, as you can see from the left, roughly $2.6 million is being held by accounts that owe $10,000 or more in delinquent taxes, which is significantly more money than any other category represented on this chart. This information helps us determine where best to focus the majority of our collection efforts to recover the most tax dollars for the district. And then the following pie chart shows the amount of base taxes remaining to be collected by tax year. The 2022 taxes are the most recent delinquent taxes to be turned over to us. These taxes were turned over last July, and to date, roughly $1.4 million remains to be collected. For tax year 2021, we are still working to collect approximately $633,000 for the district. While newer taxes are more collectible, we try to collect every tax dollar regardless of age. And everybody's favorite part is the tax calendar. So we know the most important date on here is February, because taxes become delinquent if not paid on February 1st. And that is also when the 6% penalty attaches. And then if the taxes remain unpaid, it's 1% penalty per month for each month that they are delinquent. And then in July, if they continue to remain unpaid, it's then a 12% penalty, which will stay on there until the taxes are paid. And then July is the other big date on here, because that's when the taxes are turned over to us for collections and a 20% collection penalty attaches. Now, the property owner is given a notice ahead of time that there's the possibility that the 20% collection penalty will be assessed, and our collection services are not paid by the district. They are paid by the property owner to defray the cost of collections. You want me to?
Our next slide is going to show you where we are at on collecting the 2022 delinquent taxes. So we'll see that we've got about $4.9 million that was turned over for us for collection. If you saw from the previous slide, 98% of the base tax for 2022 was collected by the tax office. So it is actually turned over to us as a very small amount of taxes. Tax office does a fantastic job of getting the majority of that in. So of the $4.9 million that was turned over to us, we've got 72% of that collected, and the rest of it is in various stages of collection. Some of those taxes are deferred, and those are things we can't really collect. Some of them are in bankruptcy, and there's very specific rules we have on collection for things in bankruptcy. Then we've got 9% in suit and 13% in somewhere else in the collection process. So we might be working on payment plans with the taxpayers. We always try and start with that before we get them into suit, but they're working their way through the system. On the next slide, I'm just going to give you a little more information about those 2022 taxes. So of the entire base tax from 2022, 99.56% of that has been collected. Again, remember, 98% of that was collected by the tax office. And what's left to be collected is less than 1%, less than 0.5%. So just to show you how these sort of work through our system, we take a look at the 2021 tax year. The first year that was turned over to us for collection, we were able to collect 76.33%. In the second year, that rose to 81.12%. The lion's share of this is collected in the first year. We do continue to work those years, as Ms. Wheely said in her slides. It slows down because these are accounts that maybe have to go through litigation and things like that will take a little while to collect them. And you can see the same thing for 2020. You take another step back. We've got roughly the same with 76.68% collected in the first year. That goes up to 86% and then 87% in the third year. So we'll keep chipping away at those and hopefully get as much of it collected as soon as possible. And finally, we just wanted to talk to the board about our audit and appeal work. So in addition to collecting delinquent taxes, we've got a team of amazing professionals who work with the district's audit on the district's audit and appeals. This is at no cost to the district. What they do is they take a look at the school's funding calculation. And if you've got, in a very, very broad example, a student that the district is getting paid $100 in full funding for that student. 50% of that's coming from your delinquent taxes and 50% is coming from the state funding. If your taxable values decrease in any given year, the amount of taxes you bring in decreases as well. And let's say that's 2%, and now you're only getting $98 for that one student. So it gives you an opportunity to recoup that additional $2 from the state. So our firm will take a look at and we do audits and appeals. There have been no audits since July of 2021 due to the House Bill 3. Those will resume starting to look at the 2022 taxes. And we did do a self-report appeal, and that brought in an additional $1.6 million in funding for the 2022 year. That is all we have. We're happy to take questions. As always, we are humbled to be here. We see these students do amazing things that we can't even pronounce, and then we come in and talk to you about delinquent taxes.
They're hard acts to follow.
Yeah, it's always a hard act. They're always hard acts to follow. But if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Mr. Bowen?
I just wanted to make sure I understand this last slide correctly, and exactly, as I know school finance is a giant puzzle box that nobody can really wrap their minds around sometimes. But so what exactly is happening to cause us to be able to recover funding through these appeals? Is it that properties are being appraised? Maybe they're appraised for higher, and then they go through an appeals process, and so.
Yeah, that's generally exactly what's happening. So you'll have, the appraisal district has an administrative system set up for people to dispute their tax value. And as they go, and that could be homeowners with very small amounts, it could be large businesses with huge amounts of taxes due. And when those adjustments are made, especially if you have anything large come through, that's where you get that reduction. That's exactly right.
Okay, so is it essentially just for example, if someone's house appraises at 500,000, and then it goes up to 550 the next year, and they protest that, the state assumes it's funded at 550, or it's appraised at 550 when they decide how much we get in state funding, and then if that appeal is successful and it goes back down to 500,000. You look at the aggregate across all of the properties, see how much they dropped due to appraisal appeals, and then we get the money back for those.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
that is a broad overview. We are not the audit and appeal team, because we also don't understand school finance as well as the people we have doing this. Right. But yes, that's correct. Yes.
So would you say, based on that, what it sounds like is that when the county appraisal districts, Harris County and Galveston County, do their appraisals, is it a disadvantage to the school district if they increase appraisals because the state assumes that we have more money coming in and so they give us less funding?
It can be. I think it's, what the appraisal district is doing is they are doing the best that they can to appraise a large amount of property. And in terms of real property, they're using who knows what kind of formula to do that. In terms of business personal property, they are hopefully getting documentation from business owners to do that. But this is a growing area. Tax values are going up. People are going to continue to protest those because their taxes are going up. So I think you're going to see the same thing in any given year. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question exactly, but it is, yes, as your tax values go up, I wouldn't say it's a disadvantage because you don't know what's going to be appealed in any given year.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think that helps. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board?
No question, but I just want to thank you all for supporting the district.
Absolutely.
I know we served for years, won the Ed Foundation, and took many prize patrol trips together and handed out a lot of big checks to teachers, deserving teachers for school grants. So I appreciate all that y'all do to continue to support us. So,
well, thank you.
Thank
We love the district.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Next item on the agenda is our district update. Dr. Engel?
Okay, so a few updates for April. Early voting in District 4 of the Clear Creek ISD Board of Trustees election will begin on April 22nd and go through April 30th. Candidates for this election are incumbent Jeff Larson and Albert Whitliff. District 4 is primarily the Clearbrook High School attendance zone. Registered voters in District 4 will receive additional information in the mail, or you can find more information on our website, and Election Day is Saturday, May 4th. Superintendent Scholars, we're wrapping up our celebration season recognizing Clear Creek ISD's academic superstars. I have some numbers for the 23-24 school year. We have 783 first-year scholars, 528 two-year scholars, 374 three-year scholars, and 204 four-year scholars. And next week, we will host 2 evening dinners to honor students who have earned the Superintendent Scholar designation all 4 years in high school. And to be named a scholar, students must have earned at least a 95 in an on-level course and an 85 for advanced course level work. So very challenging, and congratulations to those students. And speaking of end of the year, 2024 graduation. Our graduation team is hard at work planning for 7 graduations at the CCISD Challenger Columbia Stadium. They are also tasked with a clear evening and temperatures in the upper 70s. Right, there we go. Thank you. Clearbrook High School will kick us off on Monday, May 28th, and Clear Springs High School will close us out on June 1st. Community-based accountability report and updated community-based accountability report will be available tomorrow online at www.ccisd.net. If you recall, we held a board workshop on the 22-23 report and made some edits based on board feedback. We continue to refine our approach and look forward to aligning it with our 25-20-30 strategic plan and annual district goals. Finally, Books Alive event. Hundreds of families came out to our 2nd annual Books Alive event on Saturday, April 6th. This is quickly becoming a destination for children and their families who want to physically experience the joy of reading. I would like to thank Susie Farrell, Director of Library Services, and all the librarians who work tirelessly to bring books alive for children. From snow slides and magic shows to Dunk All Stars, it's a basketball group, and other interactive experiences, it was a wonderful event. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Engel. The next item on our agenda is community input. The purpose of community input is for the entire board to receive feedback from citizens. The board will hear the public comments but will not respond except as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act to respond to an inquiry by a member of the public or by a board member with a statement of specific factual information, recitation of existing policy, or to deliberate a proposal to place a subject on the agenda for a subsequent meeting. Matters brought forth that require a response will be addressed by the superintendent as appropriate. All information received is subject to verification. Community input is scheduled for 30 minutes and has 2 forums. Those requesting to address the board in advance of the meeting are granted 3 minutes to address their topics, and those who sign up this evening prior to 6:30 are granted 1 minute. A district our size, there will certainly be issues or topics which will understandably generate considerable interest from the public. It is important that members of our community be able to address the school board respectfully, without disruption and without fear of intimidation from other attendees. On behalf of the board, the superintendent, and CCISD staff, we welcome your input during CCISD school board meetings. We request that everyone exhibit the respect and understanding each person rightfully deserves when addressing the school board during the public input portion of the meeting. And our first community input is from Girl Scout Troop 139153. Y'all can come forward. And will somebody be speaking at the microphone so that everyone can hear you? Will one of you all do that tonight? Or would you like a microphone here and you can speak from the microphone here?
Lily, you're in drama. Come on. What are you doing?
So we have some Girl Scout cookies here, and we are going to be giving them to our wonderful police officers.
Nice.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank y'all, girls. We appreciate everything y'all do as well.
Nice. Thank you.
Mom and Dad taught her well. She was like, I'm not stranger danger.
Okay, our next community input is from Danny Cracciolo.
I'll know better next time. That's great to follow. Yeah, okay. Good evening, CCISD board and community. Charles Kettering said, "A problem well stated is a problem half solved." I hope my feedback, in addition to the feedback of others within the community, helps this board define the issues within the Clear Lake High School choir program that negatively impact the education and safety of the students. I am a parent with a student in the Clear Lake High School choir program. From my point of view, understaffing and the lack of faculty support for the Clear Lake High School choir program remains a problem that impacts my students' level of education and safety. One example of the current choir program's understaffing that impacts my students' education is the use of student-directed learning. The Clear Lake High School choir program utilizes student-directed learning during regular class hours. It is my understanding that student-directed learning is where a classroom student is responsible for delivering a lesson to other classroom students. A well-defined strategy for administering this type of learning provides students with the experience of teaching and learning with and from their peers. However, inadequate structure and improper oversight can allow for lost learning opportunities and an unintended classroom. It is unclear if faculty presence is required during student-directed learning. One example that clearly shows a lack in staffing and faculty support for Clear Lake High School choir program was provided to this board during last month's meeting. As you may recall, a parent reported that no adult supervision was provided on a transport bus for a pre-UIL event. During a recent UIL event, no adult supervision was again observed on a transport bus. If these reports are true, the lack of adult supervision for our choir students is a repeat issue. I respectfully request the board confirm the accuracy of these claims and address accordingly to ensure the safety of the students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Erica Merrill.
Good evening, board and community members. Houston, we have a problem, one that needs attention and resolution quickly. and it's regarding the Clear Lake High School Choir program. I'm specifically advocating for this particular program, and the reason for that is we have a brand new director in a brand new district, in a brand new school, with brand new students, with no support. Last year we had a team that had support, and she still didn't believe that she could successfully run the program, so she left. So here we are with one brand new director, no support. Safety. Safety is a big issue for our program and a big concern every day. So the last time we had this conversation, it's been almost a month, and still nothing's happened, and I'm still concerned about the safety of our students every day. How about the quality of education? I'm also concerned about that. How can we be competitive in all state? These other districts have 2 or more directors. We have 1. This is my 3rd time speaking at a school board meeting within the last 6 months. I've lived in the community for 12 years and have never found a reason to speak at a school board meeting. So I want you to know that as a community member, as a taxpayer, as a mother, as the Booster Club president, there's something I'd rather be doing this evening. I'm here because it is that important to our students. So you all know the issues. They've been well documented in email. They've been spoken about at school board meetings. I've had phone conversations on multiple occasions. I've had many in-person meetings as well. So I think you all know the issues. But I will also just reiterate for the community members that we had 1/3 of our concerts. Over half of our Sound Waves performances have been canceled. That's the #1 way that our choir is funded every year, is these Sound Waves concerts that we're no longer having. We just don't have the staff to do it anymore. It's very unfortunate. So the last concert we had no microphones and no lighting. A $4,000 stipend is what our program has been offered. A $4,000 stipend will not buy somebody time within the school day and outside of the school day. I'm coming to you to ask you to please take this seriously and please help us with this program. We want it to continue. We're asking for the safety and the education of our students. Thanks very much for your time.
Next person is Michael Rubin.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Michael Rubin. I work at Johnson Space Center as a chief software engineer for a very large contractor. I'm also the past president of the Clear Lake High School Choir Booster Club. My son, who is now a freshman at Texas A&M University in Engineering, has been in choir since the 5th grade in Austin, Lubbock, and then here. In the time that I was at the Choir Booster Club at Lake, Mrs. J. Blakey was the choir director, and she built a world-class choir program. But she did not do it in a vacuum. In addition to having a great bunch of eager students, she, like many world-class choir directors, had an assistant choir director. In the 4 years I was associated with the choir at Lake and the Booster Club, she went from having a full-time assistant to half-time to third-time and then not at all. As a result of this, and as one of the main things, Ms. Blakey left Lake and is now building a world-class choir program at Fort Bend ISD, where she does have a full-time assistant director. Well, how important was her assistant director at Lake? Well, in addition to helping with the actual choral instruction, he was instrumental in running the shows and supporting pre-UIL and UIL and state and all-state competitions. Erica already mentioned a few of these. As a result of not having an assistant director, in the past year, the following, at a minimum, I'm aware of is what's happened. 2 out of 6 concerts had to be canceled. The jazz choir, the Sound Waves, performances have been cut in half. For pre-UIL and UIL competitions, 1 out of 2 buses had no adult supervision that would normally be staffed by the assistant choir director. In one concert, the lights, the whole thing, were on the whole time, and the microphones didn't work. Students, seniors, themselves are doing some of the actual choral instruction, not a director or an assistant director. Now, I know there are some budget issues at Clear Creek, and I understand that fine arts music programs may tend to get the short end of that stick. However, this does not appear to be equitable across the other music programs. For example, the director to student ratio for band is 1 to 100, and they do have 2 directors, but is 1 to 150 for choir. Now, I grew up in Lubbock, I only have 30 seconds, and football was very important. As a result, band has always had more visibility than, say, orchestra or choir. We all know there's a correlation between musical aptitude and instruction with mathematics and higher level synthesis according to the Bloom taxonomy scale. All I ask is that the choir at Lake have the same level of equity support as the other programs so that the students can achieve their maximum potential. 5 seconds to spare.
Thank you. Mylena Sanchez.
Respected members of the CCISD School Board, my name is Milena Sanchez, and I come before you today not just as a concerned parent, but also as a journalist, a Spanish interpreter, and advocate for arts and cultural awareness. The issue I raise is one that deeply affects our community: the struggles faced by the Clear Lake High School school choir program. Our choir program, once a beacon of excellence, now faces challenges due to being understaffed. Despite the dedication of our new director, Mr. Max Vowell, who is impressively juggling the responsibilities of guiding 123 students, we are witnessing a decline in safety, quality, competitiveness, and performance. As a district, we have seen a decrease in staffing over the past 5 years, leaving our choir program vulnerable. However, I urge you not to lump us into a district-wide shift. Our program's issues are not a result of Mr. Vowell's qualifications. Rather, it is the overwhelming workload that anyone would struggle with. Arts education is not merely an extracurricular activity, but a vital component of a well-rounded education. Our choir program fosters a culture, confidence, expression, personal and social development, shaping future leaders of our community. We are not here to assign blame, but to plead for action. I implore you to consider the individual needs of our choir program and our students. We urgently require additional staffing, a second director, or at the very least, an assistant for Mr. Vowell. In closing, let us remember that our actions today will shape the future of our community tomorrow. Let us stand together in support of our choir program, ensuring that Clear Lake High School can still be the world-class choir institution that it used to be. Thank you for your attention and consideration of this critical issue.
Thank you. Kim Forster.
Hi there. I'm sorry, I'm going to try and read this from my phone. First of all, I'm sure you're tired of hearing from us. And I want to still just share that we are here to really support our kids and a program that obviously means a lot to all of us. We are really hoping that you can help us find more immediate help for our program. The responses that I've heard to date have more to do with the larger scale metrics and comparisons with other districts. As a manager and business consultant, there are often metrics we use to measure and assess a successful department or business. While the metrics may give a snapshot into performance, the full story is never complete until an in-depth discovery has been completed. This is usually done by people who know and understand similar businesses and who are knowledgeable enough to ask poignant and thoughtful questions and who might be able to uncover opportunities. I would like to request someone who knows and understands what a good program looks like that can do some assessment and discovery and provide real-life feedback on what is needed. Separately, I want to speak to the fact that I have personally lived many times where I have worked many late nights, including all-nighters and weekends, and it is not sustainable. I can also speak to how important to me it is to do a good job, and I want to deliver quality wherever I can. I want to call out that our kids spent part of Saturday at a function Mr. Vowell joined as well. They also received emails with information that clearly took some work to put together after midnight on Saturday. I know Mr. Vowell is working a lot of hours trying to sustain and promote a great program, but there's no way he can maintain this level of energy ongoing. The work required includes more than one person's worth of work. Last month, you shared some great information about reallocating funds looking toward next year's budget. Please, we are asking you for help and for attention to our program. I implore you to allocate some of those redistributed funds to our Clear Lake High School choir program for the upcoming school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Ashlyn Outlaw.
Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. Okay. Hi, my name is Ashlyn Outlaw. I'm a junior in the Symphonic Chorale and Sound Waves at Clear Lake High School. It is my opinion, as well as other students and booster parents in choir at Lake, that Mr. Vowell needs an assistant director. The work as a choir director is too much for one person. For example, he teaches the beginner men's and women's choir, the mixed concert choir, symphonic chorale, and sound waves. Because he is so busy doing the regular teacher duties as any other teacher, he has little time for students to coordinate other choir events such as sound waves performances, other concerts, and other choir social events. Mr. Vowell organizes over a full 5 performances plus sound waves concerts, performances, pep rallies, and more over all of the choirs he directs. Next year, he will also be included in directing the musical, which is also very, very time-consuming. I think it is also important to mention that this Friday is when the New York choir trip is, and the first time choir has had a trip in at least 6 years, because we have not been able to focus on fundraising or even planning these trips. By putting him in a position alone, you are overworking him. That is a lot for any person. If you continue to make him work alone in giving us a choir that this school deserves, aka a 6A choir, then we are at risk of losing him, or even worse, push him to resent his job and his students, which I think I can guarantee is something no one wants. According to the National Education Association, the NEA, a survey found that, quote, a staggering 55% of educators, teachers, and education support professionals were thinking of leaving the profession earlier than they had planned, end quote. This is what happened to Jade Blakey, and when I tell you how upset I was personally, I was the first one in tears in that class. Please don't allow this to happen again. Mr. Vowell is more than just an educator. He's a leader, one that many people have found to love and respect over this past year. I think it would negatively impact the choir program, its students, and its performance entirely if you allow another director to leave, knowing you could have done something to help. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to our community members for input this evening. And we will move to our next agenda item, which is action on closed session.
Mr. President, I move that the board approves the superintendent's recommendation for elementary principal, Ms. Nicole Bartell.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham. Any comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor, if you'll raise your right hand. It passes unanimous. Dr. Engel?
Yes, we are extremely excited to announce Nicole Bartel as new principal at Bowerschlag Elementary. She has also had experience in Clear Creek ISD at Armand Bayou, a math instructional coach and ESL lead at Falcon Pass, and she's currently an assistant principal at Clear Lake City Elementary. So we welcome her. She is intimately involved and familiar with the Bowerschlag community and actually the RCC program there. So we're very excited to welcome Ms. Bartel.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Engel. Next item on the agenda is consent agenda.
Mr. President,
Mr. Bone?
Could I remove item number 10?
Item 10. Okay. Any other items to be removed? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President,
Mr. Cunningham?
I move that the board approves the consent agenda minus item 10.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, if you'll raise your right hand. That passes unanimous. Mr. Bone?
Yes, I just wanted to call out this item in particular. For item number 10 is increased special services staffing. And I know that this is an item that has definitely gotten a lot of attention over the last several years, and just continually making sure that we have the right staffing for our special needs population as that number continues to grow. So I just wanted to thank the district for taking the effort to make sure that we have the right number of people for that and continually provide a quality program. So I will move adoption, but I just wanted to call that out as being worth noting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Branch. Any other questions or comments around that item? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Bone?
Mr. President, I move that we accept the recommendation of the superintendent to approve additional staffing of 16 full-time equivalents for additional teachers and paraprofessionals for students being served by the Special Services Department.
Thank you, Mr. Bone. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor, will raise your right hand. And it passes unanimous. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is consider approval of the 2025-2030 strategic plan.
Okay, thank you. We have a few slides here. The strategic plan encapsulates the aspirations and strategic goals that were initially developed back in January of 2023, over a year ago now, during our Vision 2030 planning session, and includes the development of a CCISD profile of a learner. On February 1st and 2nd of this year, a strategic planning team of 60 people convened at NASA and included trustees, community leaders, campus and district staff, parents and students, and the group reaffirmed the mission statement and parameters, refined the beliefs, created a vision, named our value statements, and drafted goals. Board work sessions on February 19th and again on April 5th refined the strategic planning work, and I'm extremely proud of the strategic plan created by our community and representing the high-level dreams and aspirations of CCISD for the next 5 years. The results are presented this evening, and I would like to read the mission, vision, beliefs, and the 3 goals aloud. The mission of Clear Creek Independent School District, the visionary leader igniting learning for all, is to ensure each student achieves, contributes, and leads with integrity in a safe and nurturing environment distinguished by authentic relationships, service before self, and the spirit of exploration. The vision of CCISD, empowering every student with a world-class education that ignites passions and fuels endeavors. The beliefs of Clear Creek ISD. There is a collective moral imperative to invest in each person's capacity to thrive. We believe people thrive when they are physically safe and emotionally resilient. We believe determination, perseverance, and resilience lead to growth and excellence. We believe that we are stronger because we develop each person's unique talents and abilities. We believe relationships built on trust, compassion, and respect fuel student growth. We believe a culture of innovation is driven by curiosity and exploration. We believe each person is responsible for our collective success, and our success will be evident in each student's achievements. Goal 1, students and staff will thrive in a secure environment, build connections in community, and become resilient leaders. Goal 2, each student will engage in a world-class learning experiences that foster curiosity, develop talents, guide exploration, and fuel achievement. Goal 3, CCISD will cultivate innovation through strategic collaboration and responsive organizational stewardship. The strategies are listed under each goal. These are still high-level goals and strategies. Once approved by the board, we will form action teams to develop initiatives, action steps, and metrics. And our next steps, we're looking forward to April 26th. We've already scheduled a first action team planning day. And so with this, and I know we've gone over this at multiple meetings, but I'm pleased to answer any questions or entertain any comments that you have.
Thank you, Dr. Engel. Any comments or questions from the board? Mr. Larson?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that this effort is something that is long overdue. I appreciate all the work that everybody has put into this, from the board to the superintendent to the administration. And this is the kind of vision and plan that we need to move forward for the next several years. Without that, I don't think we're going to be able to maintain the standard of excellence that we have. I appreciate that I see the commitment in the community and all through the administration to support the excellence of our schools.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. Any other comments or questions? I'll simply say thank you to all of Cabinet and for the team of folks that have contributed, to community members and to staff that contributed to some of the earliest conversations. And thank Dr. Engel and the board for engaging in thoughtful discussion about the importance of putting something forward that will serve as a blueprint and really a roadmap for some longer term goals that we recognize won't happen immediately, but that are important for our continued success. I echo Mr. Larson's remarks, and I think much of what was discussed throughout, at times, we may have thought, well, this is what everyone should be doing within public education. And I think we come around to recognize, without stating some things very specifically and without having thoughtful discussion, that what you might end up doing is just growing complacent in a mission that's extremely critical. And so thank you, Dr. Engel, for your leadership, for helping to move this along. And thank you to the board that contributed quite a bit of time to make sure that we ended up with a plan that we feel represents where we're going. If there are no other comments from the board, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President,
Ms. Cheka?
I move to approve the recommendation of superintendent to approve the CCISD 2025-2030 strategic plan.
Thank you, Ms. Cheka. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none. All those in favor, if you'll raise your right hand. And it passes unanimous. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is consider approval of the use of capital project funds for facility-related projects.
Okay. Mr. Aragon will talk about capital project funds using bonds 2013 and 2017 savings and interest for multiple campus-based projects.
That is correct. Good evening. We have a total of 4 facility-related projects that total $190,000 that we're looking to do. So the first 3 will be coming out of bonds 2013 that total $140,000, and that is to replace the Clear Lake High School weight room floor, which is well beyond its life cycle. And the second one is to add speed bumps to Bay Elementary School driveway. That was a request from the administration and school safety. And then the third one is to refinish, sand and refinish the Clear Springs High School competitive gym floor. And then the fourth project will be coming out of bonds 2017 savings and interest, and that is for $50,000. And that is for some unforeseen additional costs related to the pool liner work at Clear Springs and Clear Falls and Clear Lake High School.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, like we talked about in the finance committee meeting, the Clear Lake High School weight room floor has needed replacing since I was in high school. So I'm glad we're finally doing that.
That was 2008?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. Any other comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'm trying to scroll to that item.
Page 339.
Yeah, 339.
Mr. President,
Mr. Bowen?
I move that we approve the superintendent's recommendation for transfer of capital funds.
In the amount of?
The amount of $190,000.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bowen. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, if you'll raise your right hand. And it passes unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aragon. Next item on the agenda is consider approval of an order authorizing the conversion of certain of the Clear Creek Independent School District variable rate unlimited tax school building bonds. And I'll let you finish that, Ms. Benzai.
So good evening. The district sold a portion of the bonds authorized by taxpayers in 2013 as variable rate debt. And this debt was sold in 3 different tranches in 2013. One of these 3 tranches, totaling $49.2 million, is set to expire in August of this year. So the district has really benefited from the lower interest rates on this debt by having taken advantage of variable rates rather than the fixed rates. At this time, we'll either need to remarket the debt for another short period of time or fix the debt out for the duration of the bonds. We are analyzing current and projected interest rates and will determine the best course of action. Currently, it looks like fixing these bonds out with a fixed rate for the duration through 2038 is going to be the most beneficial for us. The order we're asking you to approve tonight authorizes the conversion of these bonds to a new rate period. It authorizes the pricing officers to take certain actions related to the conversion, and it also authorizes the preparation of a remarketing memorandum. So tonight I have Terrell Palmer here, our financial advisor. Also have Tanya Fisher, our bond counsel, as well, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Ms. Benzai. Any comments or questions from the board? Mr. Brown?
Can you just briefly tell us over the life of this particular bond, how much is this actually going to save taxpayers? Do you have an estimate on versus not doing this?
It's actually already saved you. Let's say, for example, when you put this variable rate program in place, maybe interest rates were at 5% or so. And so you didn't sell your bonds at 5%, you sold them at 3% because the variable rate shortened the yield curve, lower rates. On top of that, we have gone through several years, 2019, 20, 21, 22, where we've had unbelievably low rates because of COVID and what the Fed was trying to do to stimulate the economy. Now we're in a position where the Federal Reserve bank is trying to kind of slow down the economy and have increased the rates on the short end of the yield curve, which is where the variable rates are. And actually, the rates that are longer are lower than the short end of the yield curve. And so it just screams at us, that, hey, this program has probably, had its useful life. And it's not that you want to, I'm pretty sure you're going to see me in the future come and ask for additional variable rate bonds when the yield curve is at more of a normal state, where the rates are very low at the front end and very high at the back end. That's when you will see me coming to recommend a variable rate program in the future. But right now, it looks like we can lock in this rate through 2038 at just about the same rate as the variable rate rates that would only be available for a short period of time.
Okay, so basically the way to think about this is the fact that we were doing variable rate bonds for so long meant that when interest rates came down, we could take advantage of a lot of savings during that window. And so now that window is closing, which would have happened anyway, but we did save a lot of money during that time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's been a very successful program for the district and its taxpayers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move we approve an order authorizing the conversion of certain of the Clear Creek Independent School District variable rate unlimited tax school building bonds, Series 2013B, to a new rate period, authorizing a pricing officer to take certain actions related to such conversion, authorize the preparation of a remarketing memorandum, and enacting other provisions relating thereto.
Thank you, Mr. McKay. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, if you'll raise your right hand. It passes unanimous. Thank you. Next item, Ms. Benzai.
Okay, so the next item we have is really a three-part order. So we currently have an opportunity to refund up to $155 million in unlimited tax school building and refunding Series 2015A and unlimited tax refunding bond Series 2015B. And based on the current estimated rates, it looks like there's a possible present value savings of over $14 million in debt service payments if these bonds are refunded. We believe this refunding can be delivered and closed in November, and this action tonight would allow our financial advisor to market the refunding of these bonds at the most favorable time to achieve maximum savings for our district. The second part of this is that we're also wanting to issue a portion of the bonds that were approved by voters last November. So this would be our first bond sale that would generate $140 million in capital to fund the voter-authorized capital projects. The expenses related to this sale would include the fees for legal counsel, financial advising, rating agencies, paying agent, and other financial transaction fees. And we do anticipate that we would close in July and have the funds available for our projects. The third part of this item, as discussed in the previous agenda item, is that we have that opportunity to refund the $49.2 million in variable rate unlimited tax school building bonds. If we are able to fix the rate on the bonds through their maturity, we would be, in refunding these bonds in connection with the sale of the new bonds, would likely provide a lower interest rate and lower our issuance costs by combining these two transactions together. So this action tonight would allow the district and the financial advisor to determine the best course of action regarding those variable rate bonds. And again, if there's any questions we can answer, I'll be happy to do so.
Thank you, Ms. Benzai. Any questions or comments from the board? Mr. Bowe?
Mr. President, I move that we accept the recommendation of the superintendent to approve an order authorizing the issuance of Clear Creek Independent School District unlimited tax school building and/or refunding bonds in one or more series, setting certain parameters for the bonds, authorizing a pricing officer to approve the amount, the interest rate, price, including the terms thereof, and certain other procedures and provisions related thereto.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. Any other comments or questions from the board? I will just say thank you, Ms. Benzai. I think what you outlined represents a strategy that requires a lot of attention and diligence in looking at what the market is doing and what the rates are doing and how we can best serve our community based on bonds and taxes that we know are precious dollars. And so thank you for paying close attention to that and for giving us every opportunity to make the most of the rates that are out there, if that means a savings, if that allows us to extend what we are able to provide to the community based on commitments that we've made. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. We talk about it quickly, but I know there's a lot of work behind the scenes, and it's important for the community to know that these are things that are being looked at really as part of our business rhythm every single day. So thank you for that. Mr. Cunningham.
I was just going to say I wanted to thank, because that's the team.
The team,
right there.
yes.
That's the team. So, in conjunction with, but thank you for looking out for the district. And Tanya, of course, as always, good to see a familiar face. But, thank you very much for, especially in these financial times, being diligent in saving the taxpayers and saving the district, additional cost.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham.
Well, I told you at my introduction, remember, I don't bring bad news,
Right.
ever.
Right.
I'll let somebody else do that. No, good. I'm glad I could keep my streak going.
Thank you. We are too. Seeing no further questions, all those in favor, if you raise your right hand. And it passes unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll move to items for information and discussion. And the first item is discussion of a district-wide intruder detection audit report finding.
Good evening. I would like to first thank the board for your continued efforts to support the safety of the students and staff, physical and emotionally. That's has always been a priority in the district. The Office of Safe and Secure consistently works to provide safe learning environments for students at CCISD, and they work together with the staff to grow as a safety resource. As you know, throughout the year, Clear Creek ISD is regularly visited by the Texas Education Association for the purpose of conducting safety audits. CCISD's safety plan contains a strong foundation, scaffolding additional resources focused on keeping the entire student safe. Earlier in the executive session, we were able to discuss audit findings and how Safe and Secure has worked to address them. If anyone has any questions or discussions we'd like to have, I'll be more than happy to do that now.
Thank you, Mr. Plazzi. Any comments or questions from the board?
Yes,
Mr.
I'd like to comment on this. Now, what we've seen is a continuous pattern of we continue to up our game. Our audits continue to get better and better, and it gets harder and harder to find a way to crack, or for the auditors to find their way to crack into our schools. I thought we had reached a plateau on this last year. I was mistaken. The latest audit findings tell me that we've done really good work in our systems and our policies and everything that helps keep our schools secure. I don't know how this can get any more extreme as far as how an auditor will try to get into a building, but I really do commend the good work that I've seen so far.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. Any other comments, questions, Mr. Cunningham?
Brian, how long have you been in the role now?
In this role?
Yes.
5 years?
4 or 5 years?
Yes.
5 years?
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank you for the diligence that you've instilled and I don't want to say the focus on safety, because the district has always, prioritized the safety of the community's number one assets, and that's our children. But thank you for what you've done over the years to kind of, learn a new role, so to speak, take that on and run with it. So thank you for instilling that, sense of safety. We had our high school principals earlier in the meeting, and I know whenever you hit a campus, that's the number one thing you see, our auxiliary security personnel, et cetera. And, just getting into the building, how rigorous that is and things of that nature. So thank you for what you've done.
As you know, with so many moving parts, it's absolute a team effort. It has to be. And, the campuses have been great. The leaders on those campuses have been great, buying into what even new things that they may not understand. And once it's explained to them, full-fledged, bought in. So it's an absolute team effort. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I'll make
Mr.
one
Cottrell?
comment. You just said team, and the team is more than just the staff, and not just the teachers on the campus, but as well as the maintenance departments and everybody who works for the district, but the families too. They also carry that responsibility with them every time they step onto a campus. And so hopefully to any of the parents and families that are watching or that are concerned about everything that goes into to making a campus safe and secure, when these audits are performed, it's the behavior of everybody who steps foot on that campus. So whether you're an employee or not, if you're a parent, grandparent, anybody, that's that team that makes it safe. And I hope everybody remembers that.
Thank you, Mr. Cottrell. Any other comments? Okay, thank you. Thank you. And the final item on our agenda is our annual compliance statement for board continuing education hours. And so it is our practice to read the following statement to confirm the training that's been completed by trustees. In accordance with policy BBD, the president of the board shall announce the name of each board member who has completed the required continuing education, who has exceeded the required hours, or who is deficient in the required continuing education. The period of reporting is from May 1st, 2024 through April 15th, 2024. The president shall cause the minutes to reflect the information to make this information available to local media. And the following board members have met and or exceeded the required number of hours. Scott Bowen, Jessica Cheka, Jonathan Cottrell, Jay Cunningham, Jeff Larson, Jameson Mackay, and myself, Arturo Sanchez. And so I thank the board for completing all of the required training and more. And we recognize that it is an additional commitment of time, but that's important as we focus on so many different topics and issues as trustees, and appreciate your diligence to getting those completed. And with no further business before the board, I will adjourn us at 8:12.